think that men, well, I could understand why, but like when women are coming at men with the mindset of like I can do whatever you can do. And it's like I don't want you to do that. And then also I was like in the shower fucking with my hair and my hair is like getting really tangled lately cuz it's like dead and shit. And I was like, I don't trust men to like tell me about my hair because what are they going to know when their hair is short all the time? Women are going to be more trustworthy in the sense of being able to tell me the correct way to take care of my hair.
True. I mean, if you're looking at it from that, yes.
And then I'm like, that's why I trusted Harley. Dope. There are things, anyways, basically what I'm saying is there are things that I trust women that I don't trust men with when it comes to advice.
Fair.
And I just think that it's important to understand the distinction between the two.
I agree. We concern ourselves with different things.
Right.
And we get different skills from those concernings.
Anyways, welcome to the pod.
Yo. What is it? Swiss? We've been calling it Swiss, but what does it stand for?
So would you say?
So would you say? We can call it Swiss, even though I don't even think he likes Swiss cheese. I do. So
I'm not a huge fan of Swiss cheese.
I actually like the podcast, unlike somebody.
But I like Swiss with a Y, not an I.
Spelled with a Y, not an I.
I am the Vanilla Boy, spelled with an E, not an I.
I am Days, spelled with a Z, not an S.
And
D-A-Y-Z.
And like we were just saying, this is So Would You Say. Do you want to open the statement, or do you want me to?
Is the statement going to be the question?
Yeah.
Dude, you should ask me because I just looked at the definition and now I got my answer from it.
Okay. So would you say that all agendas are bad?
I would not. Because an agenda, according to Merriam-Webster, the second definition, which I like, is an underlying, often ideological plan or program. So that's coming from an ideology. I would say that how we promote health, just to take us as an example, could be argued as an ideology.
I would agree with that.
And we're promoting an ideology which, per definition, makes it an agenda of some sort. So no, I do not think all agendas are bad. What do you think? So would you say all agendas are bad?
I would have to agree that I don't think all agendas are bad. I think that a lot of them are misconstrued. I think a lot of people don't want to accept that maybe an idea is not their own. And so they don't really look at the agenda as like deep down what is it actually doing. But then there are some agendas like you were explaining, like health, that we're promoting. It's like we're not coming from a ill-intended place. We're actually coming from a place of experience, a place of
realism.
Yeah, realism is good. I was going to say observation.
Very trying to be as, because here's something, religion and science both agree with it.
Fair. Yeah, it's
health
like,
is pretty well rounded.
There's a lot of objective truth to being healthy.
I don't think there's a lot of good argument against it.
Right?
I don't think there's a lot of argument in pursuing. Do you agree with the quote, "You are what you eat"?
Yeah, 100%.
It's crazy that we're talking about this right now because me and Seth just talked about diet on Matter of Fact. And I asked him this exact same thing. Do you agree with "you are what you eat"? And I agree with that. I think you are what you eat is an analogy. You don't literally turn into broccoli and celery when you eat it.
Right.
However, it is what you are made up of chemicals. I've been hanging out with Seth, obviously, from what from how I'm talking. You are made up of chemicals. Those chemicals need other chemicals to operate effectively in the world. If you want the most energy, the most dopamine and serotonin, to look at it from a scientific perspective and a neuroscience perspective, if what you want is the most energy and highest quality of life that there is, and I cannot imagine why you wouldn't, then health as an agenda is fine.
It's crazy that I feel like a lot of people don't see it or they don't want to look at it.
Health?
Yeah, because, like, bro, I can tell the genuine difference than when I used to just drink soda all the time and eat like shit and do all these, like, have all these eating habits that were just really terrible for me. And I would just be tired all the time. Like, literally all the time.
Same.
Luckily, I didn't gain weight.
True.
With the diet I had, I should have been.
Yeah.
And it's funny because people would be like, oh, you'll get it one day when your metabolism slows down. It's like, okay, well, I nipped that in the butt before my metabolism slowed down because I'm not trying to be like that. I'm not trying to be the guy that's like telling kids like, oh, you'll get it when you're my age.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, it's like it could last forever if I really tried hard enough.
That is projection to the max.
Of course.
Because they want to see they're putting their own failures onto you. They're like, oh, well, I didn't do it. Oh,
would
it's
validate
because, yes. They're like, well, I'm twice your age. That's why.
So would you say that agendas lie heavily on validation?
Do you think ideology rests on validation? I would say that when I'm pursuing the argument of health, I'm looking for a validation.
Fair.
I want it to be right.
Right.
But do I only want it to be right because I want to be right? Or do I want it to be right because I think health is a genuine good for the world?
Well, I guess to answer your question, yeah, I feel like ideology sits on validity.
Fair. I would agree.
Because, like you're saying, if people aren't even agreeing with you, how much can you actually know? Now, that goes against, like, questioning science.
Yeah.
However, I think that you could, if you really tried, you could find people that would be on board with what you're preaching in any area.
True.
But you have to understand the validity of what their props are giving.
What do you mean by that?
Like, their props have to be coming from a place of,
they thought it out.
Yeah, it's had a lot of time spent acknowledging and observing and learning. And
so would you say that is one of the biggest threats that agendas can have? Is the people that aren't actually thinking?
Yes.
They just
I think
fall
that's the
trapped.
biggest problem with them. Is people will just hop on board because they're like, yeah, that sounds good.
So why is that so threatening to humanity?
It's very counterintuitive.
I would totally agree.
The whole point of agendas are to move us forward. And I feel like a lot of agendas either move us backwards or hold us in the same place. And I don't see that being beneficial when people aren't even willing to stop and look at the agenda they're following.
Facts.
And just be like, maybe this isn't like the way to go. It's crazy because me and Seth were talking about this last night. The agenda of, like, the Free Palestine community when we were in Columbus.
I was about to say that we went through.
Yeah. And that's the point I was about to make is they're trying to push not being forced onto us because they're like, okay, Palestine's being invaded. I don't know a whole lot, so I'm not going to speak
right.
I know what I'm talking about. But from the gist of, like, what I've seen, Palestine's being invaded, and they're like, we can't stand for this. We can't just let these people come in. Free Palestine. Don't let them just come and do whatever they want. And then they're going out and stopping traffic, which is forcing themselves onto the community. And it's like, okay, if you want to go parade down High Street, why don't you do it on the sidewalk?
Because it's not as big of a inconvenient statement.
Yes.
It's a bigger statement because it intrudes.
Yes, and it's like, why? How is that the agenda to get people on your side when you're trying? That's the whole thing you're fighting. We were talking about like gay pride parade as well. It's doing the same thing. They don't want to be forced to hide. That's fine, but then you're forcing me
Yes.
to look essentially, and it's like I don't want to do that either.
Also, to give them complete. I don't know where I want to go with this. I'm trying to make a point here without being too obtuse.
Good word.
You have to be fully on their side, or
Yeah.
you're fully against them.
Yeah, you have to. It's not choosing a side. It's choosing a side.
Yes. Also, if you're even sort of under the assumption that anything that they're doing it could be wrong, you're attacking the entire community.
Yeah.
As vague as that is, that's like as deeply as I wanted to go into it.
Fair. Well, it's funny that you make that point because Seth was making the point last night. Like, dude, not every single gay person is wanting to be in the gay pride parade.
Right.
Some of them may not even agree with it, but the parade itself is the issue I'm having with that agenda, not the movement of gay people being free to be gay.
Yes, I agree with that.
And I just think it's important to understand the distinction in following an agenda blindly and doing your due diligence to understand an agenda that you want to follow.
It reminds me of the Tom McDonald reel. Do you remember?
Yeah.
What people think the average Republican is like, I believe, is, and it's him in a cowboy getup, pretty much, just
talking like this.
Yeah, shouting into the camera about killing, or killing babies or abortion is murder, and just screaming. But then he shows him his real self after, just in his normal getup, talking about more modest ideas from the Republican side.
Yeah.
Rather than just forcing extremes.
He's almost defending them.
The right?
Mm-hmm.
True, I would agree with that.
But he's also defending, because it wasn't all right. He was doing like both, like he was like making fun of both sides.
Yes, he was like, I'm pretty sure at one point he was like, if gays want to get married, that's like, he wasn't.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, he wasn't holding the Orthodox Christian perspective.
I think that the internet has over amplified agendas.
Yes.
It's like making it very it's being like shoved down our throat, and it's crazy because I kind of caught on subconsciously because of the way it was like making me feel all the time. And it's funny because I just had a memory pop up on Facebook where I was like, don't let the internet run you, run the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, okay, I was on it. I was understanding what was happening, and that was around the time of like the Black Lives Matter agenda. And do you remember when musicians were like posting just black squares?
Yes.
And they were like, it's blackout.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? How does that make any sense? Like, we use music as an agenda.
True.
And if you want people to change, it doesn't make any sense that we would stunt ourselves by not making music. And if anything, it's like a really terrible time going on.
Was that the statement?
Yeah, they were like boycotting
content.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I was like, how does this make any sense? Like,
Creative
especially
sorry.
when it's such a terrible time right now where so many people are fighting and like in a bad headspace, it makes more sense to me for people to be getting regular music that can help them express themselves and pull themselves out of that because they can relate to it. But that was all I had to say about that.
Say that last part one more time. I'm sorry.
I think it's important for people to be getting, like, it didn't make any sense for me for people to be stunting the music output.
Oh, yes. I agree with that.
Because people need music to let go sometimes.
Right. It was a suppression of creative expression.
And people were doing it to themselves.
True.
I mean, I'm sure a
They were
lot of
getting
labels had to. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of labels had something to do with that.
That's another huge threat
Yeah.
when it comes to agendas.
True.
Is that you don't know what's all the way happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know the extent of
I see what you're saying now.
what powerful people are in control of.
Well, or who they're in control of.
Wait, what do you mean?
You said
like the
what
labels that
powerful
they
people-
own.
It's like what powerful people are in control of, and then also who they're in control of when it comes to shit like that. Like a lot of musicians that are on labels are not controlling their own life. So it's like the rich people up top are the ones controlling them. So everything they're saying and doing is not real.
Mm-hmm. So, if we're gonna get real conspiracy theory here,
Fair.
would you say that the government and just the society of the West right now in the United States is set up to have everybody fighting one another?
Yes.
So, would it make sense that religion and science are these two opposing forces that are casting stones at one another?
I would say it has to do with a lot of that.
So, when I think of things like Lil Nas X, I think of someone who's not in control of their music videos and their output and the things that they're saying. I believe that sex sells,
Right.
and the side of science is trying to almost big man the religion,
Right.
because that's what it's putting under question and under fire, is what are we allowed to say and do that everyone can see, including the children and whatever.
Right.
And then I think of a Lil Nas X video, and Tate has brought this up, so he painted it out very well, but he's essentially twerking on the devil
Right.
is what he's doing. So not only is it gay, but it's promoting the devil,
Right.
and he's a young guy. I don't imagine these are his ideas.
I honestly, hey, look, Kendrick Lamar joined. What's up?
Bro,
Dude,
Kendrick Lamar left
what
a
the
voice
fuck?
message.
You can leave
Let's
voice.
listen to it. Let's see what he said. Can you pull it up?
Yeah.
This shit's dumb, fool.
Nah, Kendrick Lamar stopped by a handful of times. I can't even play it.
Here, I'll try to play it. Let's see if I can find it. Every time I get
He
something
left
from
another one.
I'm so pessimistic about fucking TikTok,
Dude, this guy's funny.
which I don't
He
think
came by.
I should
He
be.
was like,
oh,
dude,
do you know
what
this
the-
guy?
he stopped by while me and Seth have been playing a couple times. I can't.
How do I? Are you a? Is this a
Dude,
scam?
yeah,
Did you
like-
scam us? Bro, this is not real. He copied and pasted this
LOL.
shit.
All right, I see you.
No
I see you.
way. I do not think you can play this.
Dude, he said he came by and I was like, "Oh my god, the Kendrick Lamar just liked our live." And then he was like, "What's up, guys?" And then he said something else, and then I said something else, and then he was like, "All right, I'm gonna head out of here. I gotta go to a Diddy party." And I was like, "All right, bro, like, fuck out of here."
Dude, you got a Drake diss to write, bruh.
I don't even remember what the fuck I was saying or what you were saying.
About agendas and Lil Nas X.
Oh yeah.
And it goes much deeper than Lil Nas. I just gave Lil Nas as a specific example.
Okay, here's another agenda.
Okay.
I think the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef was an agenda.
It seems very forced.
It feels like.
Can I slip your ass so just you better be following us.
Unfortunately, no, you can't.
You gotta follow us and the guys.
Yeah, true. You gotta follow the guys.
You cannot
at
talk
least.
to us like this unless you are following.
Dude. At least go follow. Dude, I can't even remember what the TikTok is
Can I
for the
slurp your
guys.
asshole? Touch your pussy. So you're
You want to
refusing.
smell my fingers?
Dude.
That's interesting.
What's it smell? Touch
Well,
your pussy.
He wants to touch your pussy.
No,
to smell
well,
your fingers as well. You
He has the
Yeah,
pussy
you could touch my cat.
because he has the cat. Hey,
Oh, what up, gang?
what up?
What the fuck even is that?
I don't know.
Um,
We're getting all kinds of comments.
but yeah, I think that rap beef a lot of the times is Abaddon is my cat's name. I feel like rap beef a lot of the time is an agenda where
Meaningless emoji.
the labels will they're like setting up releases to be stemmed of like, okay, Kendrick's going to drop right here and get the crowd all like fucking hype. And then Drake's going to clap back right here and get the crowd all hype. And then Kendrick's going to come out with 2 songs because they weren't expecting a second song. And then Drake's going to come back with another song that's like, why are you putting out 2 songs? And then it's like,
it's genius.
yeah, of course. It makes so much money. It's insane.
It's genius. It's like, let's see. Let's look at that song. The biggest diss
Fucking
song of
Not
all
Like
of them.
Us.
Yes, and I bet. Let's look at how many listens
The
this
song is
has.
bad.
It doesn't matter.
Right. The
It doesn't
agenda is
matter.
pushing it so hard that it doesn't even matter if it's a good song or not. It's just bad.
It's a big name, Kendrick, disses another big name and comes for his entire status. And that in itself is a big enough statement that people want it to be good because it would be exciting if it was good.
Dude, and you can tell how far the agenda goes too because then after Kendrick says all this stuff, because apparently Kendrick just has every single insider knowledge about Drake ever all of a sudden, which is crazy.
Or he's been keeping his mouth shut and now he wants to say something.
And then he says,
Euphoria is better. Your cat name is.
I didn't listen to Euphoria. I won't lie.
I heard it one time. I couldn't even tell you.
But, and then all of a sudden there's all this shit about Drake and how he, like, talks to little girls.
15-year-old girls.
Yeah, it's like, okay, which that has hit before. I've seen that before.
It's been claimed.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I saw it with Tyga. I saw it with.
Tyga said that?
No, like Tyga was getting caught up and like talking to 15-year like, and I'm like, okay,
it's his best song. It's Kendrick's best song.
Fair. I was never really a Kendrick Lamar fan. Kendrick Lamar, so
there are a handful of Kendrick Lamar songs.
I like some Kendrick Lamar songs, but I can't say that I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan for sure.
He is referred to as a goat.
Yeah,
he's given goated.
This is the thing. While I don't appreciate the agendas that are being pushed with that, I do think that Kendrick's a really talented rapper.
Fair.
I don't like his voice that much, but I think that he's really talented when it comes to lyricism and like flow.
Fair. Yeah, you never know how. You don't know. I'm not gonna say you never know. You don't know the extent of agendas, and I agree with you. If it's bringing a lot,
you're welcome.
If it's bringing a lot, why wouldn't they do it? If someone,
right. It's making them money.
Yeah, if they had a boardroom meeting and they said, guys, let's have. Because imagine if they are just able to contact these 2 guys who already have such a pull on society, it hurts.
Yeah.
Kendrick and Drake are humongous names. Like, let's have Kendrick out of nowhere, the hit of the summer, because they were talking about the hit of the summer. So then they were like, "This is a great idea. Everybody's already talking about it, so everybody's getting." Which who knows if that's an agenda?
Right.
Maybe some big person said hit of the summer, and now that's an agenda.
Dude, they will. I don't know if you knew about this.
Oh, dude, Jacob's here.
The agenda of music goes so fucking far. It's ridiculous. It's like I've put so much.
Aang needs to focus if he wants to be the Fire Lord. I need the tattoo.
Dude, maybe we should paint an arrow on your head for Halloween.
Maybe Aang is who I should
dress
like.
up as.
That would be crazy.
That would be cool.
Dude, if I look like Aang, that's pretty good. It's better than Caillou.
True. The music agenda goes as far as you will see, okay, songs that are blowing up on TikTok are very label driven. It's one-offs. I'm not going to say every single song that's blown up on TikTok has been because of a label. Some things just hit the algorithm correctly because people know what they're doing. But a lot of the times, especially like the really huge ones, it's like labels will pay for people to make up TikTok dances.
Yeah.
And do a TikTok dance to this random song that no one's ever heard.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, the label already had heard it and had been pushing it, and they need somebody to really make it go viral. And they'll do shit like that. And people on TikTok are like, oh, my God, I can't believe this person just found this song. It was like a hidden gem. And it's like, no, it wasn't. The label paid them to do that.
And now it's a big deal.
Yep.
So what? It's props versus validity once again.
Yes.
Where a big name or a big community says something and everyone hops ship because that big, already well-established, I imagine, community or person has so much pull that people will just be influenced by the drop of a dime.
And then it goes to the other side of where they will pay people to shit on it so that it's getting that side of clout.
True.
And then people think like, oh yeah, these people, they have like the same ideas as me, and it's like they're making it up. They're making it up to fucking, what is the word? To cater to that crowd.
Fair. So, given everything that you've said about agendas, how they're hidden, and there's a lot of threats to them, especially if people are not thinking for themselves when these people do this. Let's take someone that you are influenced by and respect, such as Russ. So how do you distinguish between someone who's pushing an agenda and someone who you can actually respect and take their word seriously?
Two things. One, off topic. I don't know if you want to message Seth and tell him we're live.
Also,
give
do you
him
have
a
a
reminder.
lighter? If you're going off topic, I'll take some of that.
Yes.
I was going to be like, fuck, dude, he's going to say something. I just asked a question. I can't think about smoking right now.
As for Russ, I think the distinguishing factor
Nice.
is humanistic qualities. I have, and this is where due diligence comes in when it comes to agendas. I've put an extensive amount of time into.
Yeah, honestly.
Then he leaves.
When he said that.
What up, Nazomi?
Who's
what
this?
the hell?
Is this Overwatch?
She was watching me and Seth play Baldur's Gate.
Oh, sick.
Damn, I didn't expect you to be up right now. She lives in Australia.
That's kind of dope. Dude, I like how I bet Jacob left. He came in to say that and leave. He said, I'm not going to say that. What were you saying?
What the fuck was I? This becomes a thing where you have to put your due diligence into understanding what you're looking at and researching, because if you it goes the same as practice, where bad practice doesn't get you anywhere really. If I am basing my opinions of what artists are doing it the correct way, what artists are doing it the correct way, off of fucking who's like a super like label puppet.
Like music?
Yeah.
I bet Jason Derulo is, but I bet there's better examples than him. He's the first one that came to mind.
I'm trying to think of people that have like had big opinions, but it's very obvious that they don't really stand for those opinions. Like,
that they're just bought and sold. Who's like an obvious one? That's what I'm trying to
yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of, because I know there are people out there that I'm just like, oh yeah.
I think actors would be a better, more obvious one to steal from. Like Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
Is
Okay.
very
People like that.
bought
Like,
and sold.
you can just tell when they're talking if you've done enough. Like,
Active listening.
yes. If you've done enough active listening, you can just fucking tell that they are not saying things that they really believe in by their body language,
Tone.
their tone comes off very like almost sarcastic all the time.
Fair.
There's no like stance of anything. There's no like,
Dude, Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I would
The
say
Rock.
Kevin Hart and The Rock are pretty good examples. I think they have more. Like, I've seen Kevin Hart drop gems before. I've heard The Rock drop gems
Fair.
before.
Yeah, they have.
I've
like,
never heard Jimmy
lies.
Fallon drop a gem before.
I've heard him fake laugh.
I've heard him fake laugh many times.
Yes.
And that's the point I'm making, is like, I can just tell you're not real. And then there's another thing about like the people that are interviewing. I learned this from Logic. So I remember watching this interview of Logic. He was actually with Andrew Santino. Is that his name?
I'm not sure.
Redhead
I could find. Oh,
with Bobby Lee.
Yes, on Bad Friends, I believe is what it's called.
He was being interviewed by him. I'd never even seen this guy before. This was before Dave.
Oh.
And I was like listening, and Logic goes, You know, I really appreciate this interview because you're not just asking me like the stupid questions where it's like, what's your name, where you been, like blah blah. Like you genuinely are like interested in learning about like what's been going on with me and like shit like that. And I was
That's
like,
cool.
okay, so there's a difference between actual interviews and people that are just bringing people on for the face value of look who I got on my fucking interview.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, so if that's the case, then that would only mean that there are fake interviews. And then I'm like watching these interviews and I'm like, okay, cool. I guess I hear what they're saying. And then I like watch somebody like Russ and I'm like, okay. When he's talking, he's very like passionate. He's very first of all, he's like, fuck the label. So he's already on the opposite side of the agenda. And he's gaining traction for taking that route.
So is Tom McDonald. Tom McDonald's completely independent.
Right. And when he is coming up, I'm like, okay, I've literally listened to this guy's music. He's saying that he does it all himself. LOL, we lost a follower.
What the fuck?
Anyways, he is like getting all this hate, and I'm like, bro, people are literally just hating because they're mad.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like hating because he's really doing anything wrong. They're mad that he's saying things that nobody else will say.
Bro.
And that is creating commotion. There was an agenda to hate Russ.
Yes, there was. I was a part of all the memes. I thought they were hilarious, but I didn't know the guy. But I also didn't like rap very much, so it was easy for me to kind of stand on the sidelines of that.
Fair. You were just kind of like the...
I was enjoying the memes.
Right, there's so many different memes of just like, fuck this guy.
Yes.
Like,
It was like... I remember so many memes where they would be like, Russ be like, and it was just a photo of a trash can. That's all it was.
I'm like, bro, this guy is so good at music. I don't understand how you can hate like that. And it feels forced.
Props over validity.
Yes.
They're more mad about how he's saying it than they are concerned with how real it is.
And it's crazy because I think another thing that really put me on to his mindset is he would oftentimes be like, bro, I don't understand why everybody's mad. I'm just saying the truth. That's why people are mad. They're mad because I said the truth. And I'm like...
So would you agree that if he's going directly against the agenda, he's taking a different route than most? So he's paving this new way. It's very innovative.
Mm-hmm.
The innovative types
He's
are
a pioneer.
they're the easiest ones to get stones thrown at.
Oh, yeah.
They're the easiest. People are like, oh, you're the one going over there instead of over here. What? We're all just so stupid over here. You're
Dude,
just going to go over there.
It's the point we make about our families and how serious they take what we're doing right now. It's very easy for them to be like, yeah, okay, buddy, like whatever you say. And then they're waiting for 10 years down the line for us to come back around and be like, you were right. I shouldn't have done that. I wasted so much time on my life like doing just childish things. And it's like, bro,
I can
it's
already
not how it's going to be.
I can already hear it. Behind closed doors, the conversations I'm hearing are, yeah, he's going through this thing right now. I'm waiting, whenever some time goes by.
He'll get a job eventually.
Like, he'll understand that it's not realistic. It's not just gonna fall into your lap like you think. I never thought it was just gonna fall into my lap.
Right.
Now I'm arguing with the thought of arguments. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Thinking that way that I thought.
I mean, to be fair, if you think about it,
I can just hear it in their tone. That's the conversation.
that is an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
They're pushing the agenda of society is this way.
And it gives them foundation in themselves.
I can't believe we lost a follower. That's funny.
That's funny. What if it was Seth?
LOL. So
Yeah.
it's like, don't text me.
He was like, yeah. I meant this sound. Holy shit. I was like, I didn't text him. And I was like, oh, fuck, that would be crazy. But agendas. What the hell did I just say before that happened?
We were talking about our families and not
yes.
and how they're pushing an agenda of society.
Agendas are easy to hop into because you can bump into anybody that's going to defend it with you.
Right. It's like every single person that we meet out in public and we tell them what we're doing, they're like, oh,
That's awesome.
cool.
Even the people that get it.
Yeah.
There's just this face value aspect to it. Do you remember that guy that we met? I know you remember him because we brought him up like 4 times. Outside of Keaton's fight, the second guy.
Not the guy that was like, dude, I was the one booing
No,
you.
the other guy.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. The fact that we all like dapped up at the end of that exchange. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like,
I did not dap him up.
of course you did. You escaped. Good on you.
Yeah, I
but
was
now
like,
I'm
alright.
presented with it. I'm the one that gave us the opportunity to leave in a way that was loud, because the only other way was just to be like, and I was almost on your fence too. I was almost like, okay, but he did the thing that Keaton does, where he's like, duh, 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 and now I'm like, okay, I'm back in.
Yeah,
okay,
he's
what's
pulling
up?
you back in
Yes.
every time.
And then he starts making fun of us. He says, he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be caught like, talking to you guys. Like, oh, man, I don't want to be caught being talking. This guy's like talking about Keaton, and Keaton's like assessing the situation.
He's-
like, wait a minute, what's
He's trying to
happening
figure
here?
out where he's coming from.
Yes, manipulation.
Mhm.
He rung us in with positive vibes, or at
Mhm.
least he's like dapping us up. He's this high energy guy, and then, fuck, bro, I was trying to embed that in what even made me bring it up.
We were talking about our families and pushing
Yes,
agendas.
you brought that up twice now.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
trying to tap back into where
It's just the
that's
props
at.
versus validity. It's the fact that we had that exchange and it was so loud and there was some exciting moments gave it enough stance for him to dap us up, even though the validity of what happened was pretty shallow.
We were talking about right before that the point of you can just hear it in people's voices about how
Oh.
they actually take us.
Yes, he was putting a tone in there and like forced wording. He was like, oh yeah, if you guys see me again next time, like, oh, you gotta say something. It like felt forced. It
Yeah.
felt like it was like, why are you even adding this at the end?
And then the dap up is forced.
yes, everything about it is
I-
face.
Yeah, because if you walked away,
Yeah, it would be the
if
most
he stuck
honest
his
thing.
hand out and you walk, you're like, I'm not dapping you up, bro. I don't know you.
The amount of enemy that I'm creating is like
Yeah.
not worth it.
He would now be on the fence of like,
He's ops now.
well, fuck you then.
If you're not gonna
Even if
dap
he
me
didn't
up.
say that, he would still be in that body language. He would now be like, why?
And this is a dilemma in myself. It's like, okay, that's honest.
Yeah.
Do I want the pros to cons are not equal there. The pros of dapping him up are pretty maintainable.
Because in his head, he's like, oh, yeah, I'm getting this interaction. And we're like, I just want to get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, it's like,
I'll
oh,
never
a
see you
dap-
again.
A dap up's what gets me out of here. Easy. That's an easy exchange.
Dude, even if I saw him, like somewhere down the line, I would not remember him.
If I weren't so busy, I might notice him.
Fair.
But I'd probably be really busy in that moment.
It's just like, dude, I know he was a big guy. I know he was black. I know he had facial hair. That's about all I remember.
I remember his voice.
I can't even see his face. Like,
His voice was very distinct. That's what I remember.
but I'm just like, all right, dude.
Yeah, bro. It's like I gotta stop with this. Like I'm trying to pay attention to when
Dude,
I say
feel
it.
you.
I'm trying to cut it out. I was watching Matter of Fact earlier, and I was listening to every time I said like, and I was like, no way. I cannot believe how unconscious it can be if you don't even think about it.
Yep.
So I'm trying to be incredibly conscious of not
I feel
using
you.
it.
I've started to. Sorry to cut you off. I've
No, you're
started to do the same thing that Keaton's doing, where I'm just like, it is like.
I'm trying to do what you guys were saying, where you just reframe it.
Yeah,
It reminds me of. It makes me think of.
it's similar too.
Yeah, I relate it to something like that.
Yeah, and I think there's points where like makes sense.
I
but
agree.
It's the fact that it's like that every time.
I did not highlight every like in that one clip. I just realized after I told you guys that. It was when I used it in a useful way, not in a filler way, that I didn't color it in. I wish I could remember the exact statement that I said, but it was at the end of the video.
Dude, I did it with the the like right before one of my statements. I do like it like zooms in and it's like and it's all shiny and bright and lit up. I'm like, bro.
I like it. Because it emphasizes something that we probably don't think about very often.
Right.
Now we do.
Yeah, it's
Was it Keaton? Yeah, because Keaton did the
Keaton
light
put
counter.
me on blast, bro. And I was like, fuck.
It made me put myself on blast.
Yeah, over
I said,
time
"Oh,
it has
shit."
become more and more prominent that we all just do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I really be saying that shit a lot. And then I was like, oh, all of us say it a lot.
I use it as a filler word a lot.
Yes.
I use it to catch my breath, essentially. That's why I use it.
Yeah, instead of just stopping,
Yes.
it has to be, it's like,
I'm searching for different words now
yeah.
to avoid it.
Bro, it's crazy because I remember watching, I feel like I've told you this story once, but I remember watching my golf coach speaking at, it's ironic that I just did that, speaking at a, like, sports thing, and there was this guy, he was like an upperclassman, his name is Skyler. Me and my friends were making fun of the golf coach because he said so many times, like so many times. Like, it was like damn near every sentence, it felt like. And we were just like snickering and like making fun of him, and then Skylar turned around, he's like, I'd like to see you guys get up there and do that. You wouldn't be so good at it either.
How old were you?
I was like fucking, what was that, my junior year? No, my sophomore year maybe.
So you're like 16? About 16.
Yeah, I was probably like 16. Somewhere between the 15 and 17 range.
Fair.
For sure. I know I wasn't a freshman. But it was, I was like, yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'd be terrible at it and I would say a million times.
I bet you don't agree with that now.
No. But then I'm listening to myself talk and I hear myself say it's like a million times and I'm like, it's like the same thing.
I don't use it in my writing very often.
Fair.
I
I would say I don't really use it in my writing.
And then it's almost a good indicator to what I would rather be saying anyway. If I was more concise and could think about every word before saying it, these are the words I would pick. And if it's like is not ever in there, then I'm using it as a crutch.
Right. I feel as though it's like has become a way to.
This is an agenda.
Yeah,
we're trying to reframe our wording, word choice.
It has come to a point where I'm noticing, like you're saying, that I'm using it because I don't know what I'm saying next.
Facts.
Right off the top of my head, so I'm stalling is what I'm doing. And I'm trying to get to the point. Welcome back, King.
We knew you couldn't be gone for long.
I'm trying to get to the point where I'm not stalling so much. When Keaton asks me, do I overthink? And I'm like sitting for a second, I'm like thinking about that. I'm like, not really. And then I come up, I almost answered instantly when he asked. And then he's like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you're not overthinking about it. And I think that it's like is used correctly a lot of the time. But we also use it as filler all the time. And it's like it's almost an underthinking.
I would agree.
The unconsciousness of it is, it's like being used as something while I'm trying to think in the back of my head. I just need something to like go on that I don't even have to think about.
Do you remember how we said saying it's like feels wishy-washy in itself?
Yes.
You're giving yourself less grounding when you say it's like. You're like hopping. You're like, I'm not making a statement when I say that. You're like that.
Yes.
It's not the same.
It's similar to that. It's not that.
Yeah. then you're like vague. I can't even tell exactly where you're coming from anymore. Then and I feel as though I almost said like, but I said as though. Celebrities do things like that. I bet we could point it out. Nice. I bet we could point it out in different ways, but I bet they do it with like, and it's to avoid making the full statement.
Oh, yeah.
So that way they don't have to take on the heat.
Bro, I was watching this interview. This is another good agenda that is relevant. I was watching this interview of Usher, and it was him talking about Diddy. And when he's talking about Diddy parties or whatever the event is that he's hanging out with Diddy in, he is being so vague.
Wait, who is this?
Usher.
I bet Usher of all people is going to be quiet. He knew
yeah.
Diddy almost the best.
Yeah, and it was like, well, this was like beforehand.
Before.
This was like before everything broke open.
Oh.
But Usher was like a young star that Diddy got his hands on, apparently.
Good
Both
wording.
literally and metaphorically.
Good idiom. Good idiom.
Then he was like, man, I don't know. No, like, it was some... How did he word it? He said, it was something I didn't really understand, so I just felt better not, like, getting into it or something along those
That
lines.
is so vague.
Yeah.
That's incredibly
Like,
vague.
nothing about what it was, but what it was just, well, it wasn't really my thing.
You know how people can escape things if it's funny enough?
Yeah.
Diddy did that splendidly. They played an audio to him on The Breakfast Club, and it was Charlemagne.
Yeah.
Of all
I've seen
people.
this clip.
Maybe Charlemagne was props versus validity because Charlemagne's racist, but I want that to be the clip. We could do at Charlemagne right now.
Yeah.
I have some opinions about Charlemagne.
Fair.
He
He puts himself in that box.
Yes. He threw some recorded audio in Diddy's face about him calling somebody daddy.
Yeah.
And he's like, that was you saying that. That was you saying that. And then Diddy just holds like this shocked, like, man, I like to party. Like that was the frame. And he kind of escaped. They're like, oh, he was probably super drunk. He's a celebrity. So who knows what drugs he was on. That gives him the out. He can call another man daddy because maybe he was super fucked up and he lives that lifestyle. Let's give him the out. And Charlemagne thought it was even funny enough to give him the out. And now we're like, how did we not see this? It's because props versus validity.
Yeah.
It's why we didn't see it.
Yeah, we're giving people the ability to just be behind closed doors.
If you're funny enough.
Yeah. If you're
witty, charismatic.
Yeah, if you're charismatic enough.
Sorry, unless you have something. I'm
No,
getting
you can
fucking
go.
excitable. It reminds me of, unless this was an agenda and this was planned beforehand, which who knows. It reminds me of Robin Williams, where Robin Williams grabs the interviewer's cup and says, don't worry, the scabs went away. And now he's like, he already had the energy to be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Some boring fuck can't just grab the interviewer's coffee and try to drink it.
Right, if
You can't do that.
If like fucking, I'm trying to think of like a really stone cold,
Celebrity?
yeah,
Fucking, like really boring.
like really just like whenever they're talking,
Robert De Niro. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like somebody like that's not gonna grab your coffee cup and you're just gonna be like,
Yeah, and if they did, you would expect a humongous explanation.
Oh yeah,
They
they'd
better
be
pull this shit off. Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
But Robin Williams is just jumping around like a crack addict.
He's making crazy
Normal.
just normal, yeah.
Facts.
And then it's like it doesn't matter what wacky thing he does because it's just wacky.
And it's funny.
Yeah.
It's entertaining. So, he grabbed the dude's cup and said the scabs went away.
Dude, agendas can be something
We got a
as yeah.
Thanks for the rose.
Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks for the rose.
Agendas can be something as vague as the Diddy thing. It's like that's an agenda. It's all over the internet. Everyone wants to have an opinion on it and a side.
Facts.
Now people are arguing over whether it's real or not.
People are all of a sudden all coming forth at the same time. What's crazy to me is, okay, how is this all just coming out all of a sudden?
True.
I haven't heard one thing about like this person specifically spoke out first so that we could start this wave of everybody feeling safe enough to do. It's just like
Diddy's house got rampaged.
yeah, all of a sudden
ransacked.
his house got raided. Apparently, they found all of this shit, and then
Big
it's like,
Pharma affair.
oh, okay, now all of these top celebrities are coming out about Diddy doing this. It's like, okay, I have a hard time believing all of that.
Have I told you Tate's take on it?
Uh-uh.
It's great. I love it. He says whenever they were bringing up the Diddy house raid, the first thing Tate said was, "Well, been there," because his house just got raided last year. But he said, everyone. I'm sort of paraphrasing. This is not exactly what he said, but this is what he was trying to get across. Everyone in Hollywood is doing this. Diddy just pissed off the wrong people or finally said no, so they got him.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's saying is everybody in Hollywood is kept in line with these agendas, and it's all blackmail.
Yep.
It's all held together through blackmail. So Hollywood, as soon as you go against this thing that's getting the big corporations money and public appeal, they will do anything in their power to ruin you.
Yep.
Tarnish your reputation, get you behind bars.
They'll put out 1,000,001 Snapchat clickbait stories that have your face all over it in the
Yes.
worst lighting.
Yes. And everybody is making money because everybody's looking at this. So all content creators are now motivated. It's like a stock market.
Yeah.
They're paying attention to, dude, that's kind of that's an agenda.
Yep.
Content creation is all based around what's hot and heavy right now. So it's easy for people to thumbnail a clickbait.
Clickbait is
It's easy to clickbait. It's easy to say the thing that makes people riled up.
it's brainwash.
It is brainwash. Agendas can be and usually are, especially right now with the internet, a form of brainwashing.
I would say that a lot of agendas are brainwashing, but all of them are manipulation.
Yeah, even the agenda about health is manipulation.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to manipulate people to a side of being more healthy.
There's good manipulation.
Yeah,
Just saying.
agreed.
Just saying.
And
Even relationship manipulation.
Yeah.
You're saying. You're saying.
But it's the same analogy I have to like the store
Mm.
and how kids view the store.
Mm.
They see all the brightly colored candy and
Facts.
ice cream and popsicles and blah blah blah. It's like all just bright and colorful and in your
Neon.
face. And then there's things like
Fucking a can of tuna.
yeah, broccoli.
Navy blue.
Broccoli's a black bag like
With dark green.
yeah, and then that's an agenda. Like the candy companies, which are all run by the same fucking person, even though they're all different candies and they're all different. Like, yeah, all those brands are the same.
Would you say it's the illusion of choice?
Yes. And it's like if these brands are competing against each other, and which commercial's better and funnier and like more, yeah, it's all.
Coke is represented by red. Pepsi is represented by blue.
Yep.
Is that just a coincidence?
No.
That they are very strong opposed colors.
No.
Is that just
and
a
that
coincidence?
they're the right and the left colors.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's scene with Pepsi,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure he was sided with the left as well. It was like a democratic statement
Yeah.
to drink Pepsi.
And it's like, bro, they're very similar.
Coke and Pepsi?
Yeah.
They're both colas.
Yeah,
They're both dark colas.
It's like
I think all the colas are
it
dark.
is like they're very similar, and you can't tell me that a lot of the differentiation between Coke and Pepsi is not just an ego thing of people wanting to be different, where they're like, oh, fuck people that it's like what do you mean, bro? They're all the same. And I feed into it sometimes. I won't even lie.
Yes,
It's
as
like
a kid,
the,
I did.
Yeah, it's the same as like Coke and Pepsi. Yeah, it would be identical to Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah, it would be
actually.
like the exact same.
It is similar to the Xbox versus PlayStation thing. It's like realistically, bro, they're not that much different.
Nike versus Adidas.
Yeah, it's all
Apple
cap.
versus Windows.
Yeah, bro. It's all cap.
Why is there always two?
That's what gets people to buy it.
It's crazy. It is an agenda that is not fully thought out
Mm-hmm.
because props versus validity. They standing on one side of the pillar gives them so much conviction, especially when they have a bunch of people backing them. When they have a bunch of people that are the Republicans, all the Republicans, you have so many people to choose from that side that could help you defend everything that you're saying, because they all want to make sure that the community looks the best that it can at all times. So the Democratic side starts doing this. So now they're not even giving an inch to either side. They don't do that. That's where the statements from Trump are coming, where he's more worried about saying something witty to make the other person look stupid
Yep.
than he is concerned with, I don't want to say hearing them out, but it doesn't sound like he makes a whole lot of open hearings to their side.
Well, he doesn't have to hear anything because the other side is doing the same thing.
True.
This is the point. There, and I think Seth said this, but no one is actually going up there and talking about the things that they're really going to change, what they're going to do in office anymore. It's more of a reality television show where they're just bantering back and forth to see who can get the biggest laugh and make the most obscene comment.
So you would say that they're only playing with the hot topics.
Yes, they're not talking about the real shit. They're not talking about what's actually going on behind closed doors. They just want to talk about what's going to get the clip on the internet 1 million views.
What are the most amount of people already aware of and have already formed an opinion about?
Like agenda-wise?
That's not. I guess that was a rhetorical question. That was. That's what they're concerned with when they're speaking.
Oh, yeah.
What are the things that people already know about? Because they want the most amount of people to latch on to
Right.
what they're saying and have the biggest opinion on. So it's an exciting topic.
And a lot of it is not even what they're coming up with.
What is it? Things that have already been said? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like Trump will say something about Biden being asleep,
Yes.
and he didn't come up with that. The internet did.
Definitely. I mean,
But I bet it was the people above him coming up with memes like that. And I will say, not all meme content is from,
agenda.
yeah, I think some of it is literally the general public just being funny.
Yes. I totally
And
agree.
then people that are like backing Trump that see a Trump meme can back the meme and just like make it go viral. I don't know. The internet is fucking weird, bro. It's so easy to get caught up in agendas on the internet.
Because there's hundreds of them being thrown at you at all times.
It's constant.
You have to decipher between all of them and find out which ones are trustworthy and which ones are not. Let me give a bit of clout to Cliff and Stuart Connectly for 1 second. The reason that I am so convinced by Cliff is because he has years and years and years of content that are all consistently congruent, and he is and I don't mean this in a closed-minded way. That's not what I mean. I mean he never was seen as a hypocrite. He was never seen as throwing stones. I've never once heard him call someone stupid. Never once heard him cuss. Never once heard him take the route that someone like Professor Dave Explains takes.
Fair.
Of trying to make someone look dumb. Now, is Cliff pushing an agenda? Yes. To give some context on who I'm talking about, he's a Christian, not in any interesting sense. I don't know if there's a type of Christian this is. He just takes the Bible for the word of Christ, and Christ is someone who existed and is a convincing character. That is pretty much where Cliff is coming from, and he
He says that Jesus was a character.
Jesus was a real living but character. He symbolizes God in human form, but he also realizes that he was just a human. As much sense as that makes. He has a lot of backing for this. He is very well read. He's done a lot of due diligence.
Fair.
Now, he has said some questionable things in relation to that belief system that I don't fully agree with, but I don't think I would ever fully agree with anybody. To give one example, he has said that human life is more important than animal life, is one argument that he has made.
Interesting.
He didn't necessarily say it like that, but he pretty much said, we're made in God's image to a closer degree than animals. A human death is a bigger deal than an animal death.
How could you even know that?
Yes, you can't. He's going through what Jesus said, and what Jesus said is that since animals are ignorant, this is all agenda. This is actually crazy. The
Yeah.
fact that we're putting it in this frame is giving me so much more to work with. This is an agenda. Jesus said animals are too ignorant to sin, so they're not important enough to sin. So there's importance on us because we can be aware of our sin. That's what gives us importance and obligation, moral responsibility. So if you follow that line of thinking, which Cliff does, and he's consistent, and I respect that about him, but it makes him make claims like that.
Right.
Animals are less important because they can't even be aware of their sin. They're not even important enough to see their sin. They're low specimen.
Do you think it's important to be consistent to a fault?
I think it's important to be consistent to not look like a hypocrite, but I think it's important to have a basis for that consistency.
I feel like it's more important than just being consistent. I think it's being consistent about being open to information.
I hear that.
Like, if you can't, you should be able to stand on the things that you believe in. However, if there's literal evidence being thrown in your face, you should be open to hearing that and maybe changing your stance.
Definitely. I agree with that. I'm trying to think of, because this is in relation to Cliff, how he said the animals are less important. I think that's a harmful thought.
I mean, we're animals.
We are animals. That's why I think it's a harmful thought.
Right.
'Cause so now we're just more important animals? Is that your argument?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good argument.
Fair.
But Cliff is... So this is something that Cliff does not respect about atheists or people that say they're atheists. An atheist, by definition, cannot say that something is absolutely wrong. It goes against atheism. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You cannot say... Because there's no moral law. No one has said that murder is wrong. Who? Us? We're the only ones that say murder is wrong. So who's to say? So you cannot say that murder is absolutely wrong because humans are just made of matter and energy, and we came up from matter and energy, and now we're just here, and we've made a bunch of decisions up to this point. Maybe it's the right decision, maybe it's the wrong decision. So you cannot say, as an atheist, this is what he says, this is his stance, that something is absolutely wrong. It goes against your atheism. So his rebuttal to that is, you're not being consistent with your thinking. That's his argument. And that gives me a new basis for what consistent thinking means.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. I think it's important that you... Because it's the same stance that you have on... You can't be an atheist and on the side of science if you don't believe in, like, being fit and healthy.
I think that you should be a spitting image of health.
Yeah, because you're the one that's saying that science is the end-all, be-all. So you have to stand on the values of science then, and science is backing the fact that health is important.
And you should challenge yourself when you make these statements. I've been making a lot of statements. A lot of it's This is an agenda. I am pushing an agenda when I say... So would you say this is an agenda? I just want to put the so would you say in there.
Fair.
That saying all atheists are unhealthy is an agenda.
Yeah.
Even if it's rhetoric. Even if it's just a joke to make people laugh.
True.
It's pushing something.
All jokes have some sort of truth in them.
Yes. Now, the crazy thing about that is that I mean it in a lot of ways.
Right.
So I'm challenging myself. I'm like, okay, who are some open atheistic celebrities? That's what I did to myself yesterday because I'm like, all right, I'm going to challenge myself. Am I wrong? Brad Pitt's the first one.
Of course.
I'm like, okay, this dude looks like a spitting image of health.
Oh, yeah, he does.
This dude looks healthy. I cannot argue.
But that is a thing where I'm like, not to take away from it, because maybe he really is just healthy of his own volition. However, he has to get fit for a lot of movies
True.
to fit the character. It's similar to like the Marvel body.
Mm-hmm.
How, dude, like they have to be like clean cut,
Mm-hmm.
physically fit. So maybe it's not necessarily that he's like, yes, I want to be healthy, but
Yes.
more like, for my career, I get healthy.
Yes. That's a good
Which
point.
is good either way, I would assume, because
That's a really good point. But I also do my due diligence. Now, this is
Fair.
props versus validity, right? If I look up atheistic celebrities and Brad Pitt is first, you would assume he has a lot to say on the topic.
right.
Would you agree? No, he's just the biggest name on the topic.
Yeah.
So, the most recent things that he has said verbally in a recorded video about his atheism or about just his skepticism of religion was from like 15 years ago. And it's like 2-minute clips. And then there's a bunch of clips of people saying, oh my God, he's reverted his faith, he's going to faith, he's going to faith. Not a single clip of him saying it. Not one. It's all everybody saying that he said.
Right. They're pushing the agenda of Brad Pitt is Christian so
I
that
hate
more
that.
people will be Christian, and also people that
See,
love
we told you.
Yeah, people
Even
that
Brad
love
Pitt.
Brad Pitt will be like, yeah, I mean, he's like a really great guy. And first of all, he doesn't have any opinions, so people are basing that on how great of an actor he is, which
Yes.
I'm not going to take away from that because he's a
Definitely.
fantastic actor.
I agree.
But it's like, I don't know this guy. I don't even know what he stands for.
So would you say Hollywood is trustworthy?
No, not even close.
What? So would you want to live in California given that?
I mean, yeah, I'd probably,
Would you live in Hollywood?
I don't know.
I've heard the drug scene there is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine.
Coke, the amount
Galore.
of, the amount of coke that we got offered in Columbus, I could only imagine the
Dude,
amount of coke that we
it
get
would
offered.
be like,
Especially if you were high level people.
bro, I would be
high-level
getting
names.
asked
Oh,
for
yes.
Coke like on the regular.
They'd be like, you got any snow dust?
Yeah, like I don't. First of all, fuck Coke. This whole agenda of like Coke is cool, not cool.
Yeah, Weekend. Honestly,
cap.
do you think the Weekend is bought in that regard?
Oh yeah, I bet he does a lot of cocaine,
Still?
probably.
I hope not. I hope that he stopped.
But I mean, that's like his life.
I mean, good on him. But would you say he's trapped in agendas?
Oh yeah, I mean he doesn't really get to. I was thinking about this. I was like, okay, what if Brad Pitt said in some clips when he was younger that he was atheist, and then the world blew up about it, and his managers were like, yo, you got to stop talking about this.
And then what do you think their reaction is when do you think they say something like, true, bro, I didn't even like it? Or they say something like, well, no, fuck that. I'm going to say whatever I want. And then they wave a check in front of their face and they change their mind. Is that what you think it is? Is it money talks? Is that why they just blindly obey? Sorry.
I would say, yeah, money has a big part of it because people will be too scared that their life that they've built up to that point would be over. Like, he can't let go of all the money that he's making because then his whole life would have to downgrade again to the money that he could be making. Bro, and this is a big thing about musicians that I've learned, but if you have a fan base that's real, you could quit a label and just make music and you wouldn't be making near as much money probably, but
Not
you would
at
still
first.
right because you have to figure out how to do everything now.
Yeah.
Which is why Russ is ahead of the game.
Yeah, he's got that shit on lock. It's all skills. It's all a question of skill.
He knew how to promote himself, so he knows how to not get fucked over by somebody promoting him. He knows how to make music videos, so he knows how to get not fucked over on making music videos and how to mix and master and how to make beats and what beats should be worth.
Shit is
and,
crazy.
like, he knows the worth of what's being presented to him. in most scenarios, I would say.
That's kind of a crazy thing to point out. I didn't even think about that. The fact that he has the skill set means that he can gauge the skill set.
Yes.
He can be like, is this person actually talented?
Me and Seth have talked about it where we're like, if we do these things, then when I'm finally to the point where I'm paying somebody to do it for me, I know if I'm getting what I'm paying for. Because I've had to work it and I know what it's worth. And you can't scam me because I've seen it firsthand.
That's a good point.
People can't look at my music and then be like, dude, but we have these writers for you so that you can like have like really good lyrics. And I'm like, I know what good lyrics are. I've literally
That's all
written and studied multiple
Yeah.
lyrics.
I've literally bet my life on lyrics for 8 years now. Yeah, I get that. That's from the Vanilla Boy, by the way. That's not me. I have not lived my life by lyrics for 8 years now. Can I do like a semi off-topic question?
Yeah, and this is
It-
like opening.
Yeah, I know it's fucking annoying. I'm trying to rabble it back up whenever I get it. It might be able to be relayed back to the overall topic of agenda, but the question is, how do you distinguish between skill and talent? What is the difference?
I don't think that they're different.
Exact same?
I feel like they're synonyms.
So they're definitely synonyms, but talent, at least traditionally, is something you're born with, and skill is something that you have earned.
Talent is skill is also something that you're born with, but you have to tap into it.
Fair.
Same with talent. People that are super
Sorry. That's my fault.
No, you're good. People that are super talented when it comes to like prodigy stuff. They are born with the ability to learn said skill, talent faster.
Mm-hmm.
They just understand it better. Their genetics are built a certain way. Their brain is
Yes.
a certain way. When people are learning in school, it's the same way. This is why I hate our school system, which is another agenda.
School is definitely an agenda.
Yeah. They are trying to force every single child to learn at the same rate. There are some things that we've done to mitigate that, but they like put kids in stupid classes essentially and expect them to try and like go on, but we're isolating them from the entire classroom to be in a class full of people that are like not as smart. It's like we're putting the dumb people in the dumb area, and that's making them feel dumb so they don't feel like they could be smarter. So it stunts their learning even harder.
It's very hierarchy.
When the reality of it is, maybe they're not good at math. But maybe they could spell.
Yeah, maybe English they're really good at.
Or maybe they're not very good at math or spelling because it's like more direct one-to-one learning. And maybe they're just better at remembering history.
Yes, true. To tap into neuroscience for a second, you know, like different types of intelligences? Like physical intelligence.
Yeah, I mean,
musical intelligence. Spatial intelligence. They're like different brackets.
right.
It's all falling underneath the same thing. It's all coming from your brain. But your brain has different parts working. So someone could be born with a very mathematical mind.
Right.
A different part of your brain is more active and more, maybe you're born with a different, I don't know everything, but neurochemistry, and you are naturally good at it. This is like Friedrich Chopin, I think is his name. He was a pianist.
Pianist?
That's such a stupid word. The way it's pronounced. Pianist. Yes. He was a prodigy. They found out that he was incredible at the piano at 5, and by 11 he was creating his own, like by 11. That is what makes me think of talent.
Right. I believe that talent and skill are the same in that you're born with it and you also have to work on it for it to become
True.
better. Talent could be him just hearing the notes and understanding it.
Understanding is a great word. Now, would you skill is learning and talent is understanding?
Well, because skills like not a verb.
Fair.
They're both.
Skill is like money, a resource.
But I would say so is talent. 'Cause
Yeah.
talent is. I genuinely think they're the same.
Fair.
Because, like when you're saying, oh, well, some people are just born with, and that mindset I feel like is what's separating them, not the fact that they're actually two different things. Because I would say where that mindset stems from is when you're growing up and you're like, I can't do that. I wasn't born to do that. I think, and you're a testament to this, if anything, you can become skilled in whatever you want to become skilled in.
Fair.
It may be harder for you than other people to become skilled or talented in that area because, okay, is talent less tangible, I guess?
Yes, I have an analogy to relate it to that you've came up with. Do you remember how you said everybody's a good singer? It's just they need to find the voice that they have. So maybe math isn't your thing. Maybe that's not the thing that you will be the best in the world at. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that there is a limitation on some people in that way? Maybe math. Yeah, sure, you can upgrade the skill of math, but if you're working from something that's behind,
Right.
like imagine somebody with dyslexia. Can they become a master of the English language? Sure. Will they be the number one best person with English that's ever lived? Given the evidence, it's the least likely.
Right, but then we have people like Beethoven who was deaf and he was
Facts.
making phenomenal music.
Facts. That could also be just the lane that he should have been with anyway.
I think it's about how much time you're willing to put into it because someone that does something for their whole life to just get better at it will be farther along than somebody that was born with the stronger ability to do the same thing, but they don't do it as long. And if those two were pitted against each other for their entire life and they were born at the same time and died at the same time, maybe it would be like the one that wasn't as strongly adept. But it could also be the fact that since they're not strongly adept, they look at it from a different angle.
True.
And they find the better way.
True.
I just think that everybody has innate skill and talent. I think talent comes from like other people seeing it.
Fair.
Talent are they're like, wow, they're very talented.
My question would then be, with everything that you've just said, if somebody wants to follow a quote-unquote passion or hobby of theirs, there's something that Jordan Peterson said. He said, you should pick something and stick with it. And if you don't know what that thing is, just pick something anyway and stick with it, and then maybe later on change your mind and pick something else. How do you know that you picked the right thing?
I think you can feel it. I think it makes the most sense. And that's where like the strength of being talented in that area is going to come in. Like I just feel like I've had an ear for music since I really started listening to music and finding my own music. But I could have done other things. I'm sure if I would have put the same amount of energy into music, into basketball, I'm sure I could have been pretty good at basketball.
If you literally just did it every day.
Yeah, if I was like...
Is that an agenda?
What?
doing things consistency.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have your own agendas. Kind of gives you like a direction.
I agree.
That's why you got to think and do your due diligence on the agendas that you're following.
I totally agree. And make sure that you're actually following them.
Mm-hmm.
Not just what you believe following that means.
Yeah, if you're walking around like a zombie down the agenda path that you've chosen, then you're not really even following the agenda. You're just following the herd.
Could you come up with an example?
Let's bring it back to like the gay pride stuff.
Fair.
It's like people that aren't gay that don't really know anything about like what gay people have been through as a community and the things that they're actually fighting for, which is getting really muddy at this point because
I
there's
agree.
just been so much shit happening. And they've only heard what other people have said. They didn't actually look into any of it. And then they want to argue about it, and then they get really like emotional because they're trying to be white knight essentially. But they don't really know what they're standing on. They're just trying to stand for it because they know that everybody else is standing for it, and this is going to make them look good if they're on that side.
I totally agree with that. A lot of people are guilty of that. I would say people are guilty of that with the working world,
Yeah.
the rat race.
They're trying to convince us because they've been convinced themselves. Even though they can feel it deep down, it doesn't feel right.
Right. It makes me wonder what it is that's going through them that convinces them to stay on that side. And the only thing I can think of is pride.
Yeah.
It helps them think highly of themselves because they're doing something that they don't want to do for 40, 50 hours a week to they're supporting their they put all the greatest things that can be said about it at the forefront of their being.
Yeah.
I'm supporting my family. Oh, they're a good person. That's why they do this.
Mm-hmm.
And they go through the thing that they hate.
They're sacrificing.
Yes.
Life isn't fair.
Yes. They're mature.
Yeah,
They're wise.
They're making, like, I hate when people say life isn't fair as an argument to something of importance such as like the working world.
Yeah, how you live your life.
You can't say life isn't fair and just be like, okay, well that's it. That's why I have to work like this all the time. Life just isn't fair.
Because you've ate the apple.
Yeah, life isn't fair because we can be born with deformities. We could be stunted in other places where other people are not stunted, such as being a prodigy at music.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has that
That is
talent.
unfair.
So, yeah, that's not fair. But things that are in our control, like the way our society is run as a whole, because we're deciding how our society is running as a collective, that doesn't have to be as unfair and just accept it as life isn't fair. Because, first of all, that's not life. It's something we made up to generate something that we made up. We're putting a bunch of people in factories and shit, which we need some of that stuff.
Of course.
But there are people out there that genuinely enjoy building shit. Let those people build shit. Stop putting them in areas where they're not allowed to build shit because they can't make enough money doing it. Stop doing that. We need art. Let the people that are artists be artists, and we can all let the people that want to farm so that we have food. Let the people that want to hunt so that we have food. Why does everything have to be about money? It's an agenda.
Yeah, and we print it.
Yeah, we make money. How can you say that it's important? And that it's not fair. We get to choose the value and where it goes.
True. Which, honestly, something in me wants to research what money is completely.
Fair.
Because I think that it would help me get more of it.
Fair.
That's how philosophy works.
Yeah.
The more I learn about, that's how logic works. Bro,
Manifesting.
logic is a math equation written in a book by Aristotle. It's a very, very, very long breaking down of logic, of math, of A plus B equals C. This is why. Like, logic it has been put to that degree, and now it's just a word that we use for almost everything at this point. But that's a logical argument. I hear that shit all the time.
Yeah, or it's illogical.
Yeah, illogical is a great... Reasonable, the same thing almost.
Mm-hmm.
But they're important phrases that were built upon something that's been here for a long time. Money's been around for a while.
True.
So money would be an important thing to learn, especially how important our society makes it out to be.
Yeah.
So how about I treat it how important we're treating it? I have not done very much due diligence on money, if I'm being honest.
I would say my biggest thing about money is I'm willing to understand that that's the way it's working, but I don't agree with it, and I'll play along until I can get out of it.
Right. Which I think we will get out of it.
Right.
I believe we will.
Whether that means I make the most money because I just take advantage of this stupid system that's set in place and then just stop worrying about it because I have too much money to even care. Or I break down the system of having money in general.
So would you say the guys are pushing an agenda?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of agenda?
Anti-agenda.
which is an agenda.
Mm-hmm. I think we're standing up to a lot of agendas, essentially. I think that we're standing up against a lot of opinions that people are making that they maybe don't think out so hard.
Yes.
I feel like that sentence did not work correctly.
It might not be exactly what you meant, but I heard what you meant.
Right.
They haven't done the due diligence themselves.
Right.
They just have a lot of backing on their side.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying what they're saying, so that's all that matters. They don't have to actually look into it because that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. I want to make a really controversial statement because I've never said it out loud, but I just thought about it. Going to a 9-to-5 is easy.
Facts.
You're taking the easy way.
Yep.
You say I'm taking the easy way. You're taking the easy way too.
Yep.
You can just shut off an entire side of your mind by doing that. There's a part, and I know this from experience, there's a part of the unknown that you have not dabbled in.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even know. And there's a bunch of things that you don't even have to really Nietzsche said this. He said, intelligence is only important. Oh, intelligence is only used if it's needed, if it's necessary. So if you have money constantly in, constantly out, and you're relatively above water with money and always getting money, the intelligence of what would you do without money is never there.
Yeah, why would you need it?
There's no, and how could you make it in a different way is not going to pop its head up as much either because you already have a source of income.
You already did it.
Yeah, it's an easy way to just tap out. So
crazy.
you're taking an easy way as well.
Not only that, but you don't have to think about what your day is going to be like.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to think about what your week is going to be like.
It's planned out for you.
Yep, somebody else is telling you what that's going to be. Somebody else is saying, be here at this time, leave at this time. Or maybe they're just saying, be here at this time, who knows when you'll leave.
Yep.
Which is a crazy fucking system.
And there are some jobs where it's by the call. So maybe you don't even know you're going to have a job, and you have a job all
Right.
day. And you thought you had the day off.
And if anything, and we've talked about this a lot, maybe not so much on camera, but the people that are like commenting on our stuff and like job applications and get your CDL, and it's like, dude, that would be so fucking easy. If I really wanted to just go fill out a job application, there are a million places I could go to fill out a job application. That is not the point.
I have worked a job and went to as close to the top as I could get and put 7 years away for it. And then for another year, I was still convinced by getting a job and holding a corporate position as being the only way to escape it. And now I've gone through a lot of fear and shadow integration with not having a consistent form of payment. So now we're almost salesmen. We have to. It's necessary to make money for survival.
Yeah.
So now we have to plug ourselves more and understand networking from a whole different side, urgent side,
Yeah.
and finding ways to make money. Where to place ourselves to be the most efficient with this just gulf of time. The amount of time that I have
Yep.
might be where the most shadow integration has come in.
Bro, it's because you're not used to making your own schedule every single day.
Yeah, there's nothing.
7 days out of the week, you have to think, what am I going to be doing from the time I wake up until the time I go to sleep? And you could just shut off all day. Like you would if you would just go to a job.
Mm-hmm.
You could just scroll on TikTok all day, which is what some people probably would do because they don't have any drive
Mm-hmm.
to do anything. And that's why they're scared of, they think like, I bet it's in the back of their mind, that even if they're not thinking about it, if they're like, I quit my job and just like, what would I even do? And I'm like, I'm going to quit my job so I can start a podcast and make more music and do all these things that I want to do with my time because this is stunting my time.
And you know that if you use your time, you can grow something in yourself.
Yes.
Like skill or like talent, given everything that we've said up to this point.
And I can't remember if I said it on the last So Would You Say or on one of the Conscious Casts, but I was like, I'm not saying just don't have a job.
Right.
That's not what I'm getting at. I'm saying do something that you know you could invest a shit ton of time into and do everything you can to sustain that being the forefront. It's like because we are cutting out the stable income that we could be having. We are finding different ways to make enough income to survive until the thing that we're putting all the energy into starts making the money to survive and then some.
Right, and we're not talking just shit with it. We are every day going back to the grind set, confronting ourselves and each other, expecting more from one another, because desperate times require desperate measures. So if we want to sustain this lifestyle or ideally get out of it, we have to do the utmost that we can.
Yeah.
And if we're not doing that, we're going to sink.
Yeah.
We're always sinking. That's what living like this is like.
Mm-hmm.
We could be sinking further every day. Bad news, bad luck, anything, an unexpected bill that you have to pay, or the government's going to come knocking on your door.
Yep.
If that happened to me right now, that would be a death sentence right now. That would be, or if I got into like, well, maybe I could get insurance, but right now I don't. If I got into a bad accident, there's no doctor bill I could pay right now. There's absolutely not.
I wanted to touch on the thing that you said about like experiencing it. Like you're talking from experience about the 9 to 5 being easy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mentally exhausting.
Yes.
But it's easy to shut off once you've been in it for so long. Once you get
comfortable.
Yeah, but
convinced.
It's a system set up to make you shut your brain off so you'll just sit down and shut up.
It's spoon feeding.
Yes. And like you were saying, you went to a higher degree of where you could understand what's happening. And I was thinking, okay, there's been times where my mom's like, you never held a job for like long, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, because every single one of them I've gotten into, the management is always the same.
Tyrannical.
It is always ran with the same pyramid with one person at the top, and it just keeps trickling down farther and farther to the point where it's so fucking skewed what the top guy says that maybe he's not saying anything because the money just keeps coming in. He's like, yeah, it's going great. But little does he know that all the people down here are fucking saying you got to wear your shirt this way, and you got to fucking do the pizza this way, and you got to keep the bar clean this way. And it may not even be that deep.
Don't talk back. Don't ask why.
You'll come in when I say you'll come in, whether it makes sense or not.
That's when we need you.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's pretty tyrannical. So I understand all the arguments against it, but holy shit, not doing it is difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult, but it feels free.
Oh yeah, it feels incredibly free,
It's like when
but painfully limiting
yeah,
at the same time.
yeah. It's freeing in the sense of
Hey,
okay, I don't
What's that,
have.
sir?
Oh, nice. What up, dude?
what up?
It's freeing in the sense of
Fair.
I get to be accountable for everything that happens to me. I don't have to feel like I'm going and spending 6 hours at a place that is making me do this thing that I don't agree with. So it's sucking the life out of me because I'm spending 6 hours every day doing that. And instead I'm like, if my outfit gets me in trouble, that's on me. If my outfit is not helping me sell, then I guess that's on me. It's never going to do that. But
That's not the mentality they hold, though.
right.
It's no, we know that it won't get you. No, you're not doing that.
So I am free in the aspect of I get to choose every second of my day. But what I get to do with that time is very limited right now. But I also know that if I stick it out and figure out the ways to make it work, that then I'll be making money by spending every second the way I want to spend it.
This is the magic of having this much free time, is that I can make as much music as I want.
True.
I can write as much as I want.
I can stream as much as I want.
I can I can brainstorm whenever I want.
Dude, I can get up at 8 a.m. and do a podcast for as long as I want and not feel pressed about, okay, in 24 minutes I have to be at Olive Garden.
Right.
Because I'm opening today.
I'm not even ready. I want to take a shower.
I still want to do the podcast.
You have
Like
to plan so much around it.
I would have to get up at 7 a.m. instead
Yes.
and hope that I got done in time. And it's like, why would I want a limitation on how long I want to do this?
You definitely don't want one.
And if I don't have to have one,
Everyone's convinced you do,
right?
which is crazy.
They're like, you have to sacrifice things. And it's like, you're sacrificing things for other people, not yourself.
all I'm doing is sacrificing.
Yeah, right now I'm
things.
sacrificing as well.
Yeah.
We're sacrificing, but we're sacrificing things for ourselves,
Yes.
not sacrifice. Like, I'm giving up on going out so much for myself in the future. I'm not giving up going out because,
As a lifestyle decision.
yeah, because Olive Garden is getting in the way.
Yes. It's crazy. Remember like the motivation plus discipline thing
Mhm.
that I said? Where I'll tell it to them. If you're a disciplined person no matter what, motivation comes and goes. But if you get a burst of motivation and you're also disciplined, it's a magical time in your life.
Yeah.
I am super pumped about making music right now because of learning the key. I'm having a hoot and a holler with the key thing, especially with something that was crazy that I learned this last night when making music with you guys, is I can put the overall key in whatever I want and then search for different keys that match up with that one. It doesn't all have to be in the same key.
Yeah.
And it's just how it all stacks with one another. So I'm just putting hour after hour after hour into that right now. And if I make or if I get the skill that I want to have for us to just be able to shoot the shit every week and make a full beat every week,
Yeah.
and it be really good because we musically understand what's happening, that would be our golden ticket.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a golden ticket.
I know I'm like trying to tap back into the feeling of music. I'm trying to understand where my block is. Cause I'm letting it be crippling.
Fair.
It's like impossible for me to get the motivation at all.
I've been staying on music.
Fair.
Last few. Would you say it's a lack of inspiration?
I would say that's stemming from it. but I also think that there's like a lot of things that I've done. Like I've made music here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, okay. Like Return of the Boy, bro, I think that song has a lot of potential. And I even wrote a second verse and like rapped it the other night, but it's still just chilling. I'm like, dude, it's basically done. I just have to like tune it up, make it sound clean.
Fair.
But I just don't. I'm like, well, and I think I'm just not putting out music. I don't feel that. I'm like, it dies right there because I'm like, yeah, it'll come out whenever.
Yeah, and that's true because I'm still guilty of that. I'm not putting my beats out, or even I'm getting way, way, way better at this, but I'm not making it a huge point to finish it and to make sure that I finish it completely.
Yeah.
But I am getting better. But I would say the thing that's fueling it right now, at least like the eagerness, is it's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm inspired because I'm learning something new about how music works, and it's making me curious again. My curiosity is back for music.
I don't know if it's cope because there's a lot of times where it hits me where I'm like, man, like I miss like being in that pocket of like feeling good while I'm making music.
Are you jaded?
I don't know. I just feel like I'm having more fun doing other things right now.
I respect that. I would say same.
Like I'm having a lot more fun just investing a lot of time into streaming and making content.
I would agree.
And
which
doing
is still
podcasts and-
just as productive.
Right. It's just I don't want to let it go. I'm scared of letting it go. Like I get that.
Fair.
And maybe that's where it was not hitting either. I'm like, dude, me and David and Seth never make music. But even then, I just have had a large period of my life where I was making a shit ton of music. And it was more in the beginning because I was like figuring it out. And I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. And then I would hit like spurts of like super inspiration where I would like make a whole project. But in between those times, after like probably like the third or fourth mixtape, it got to the point where I was not as invested in going into the studio all the time. I was just like,
I get that.
And maybe it's just because it wasn't hitting the way that I wanted it to. Like the people, like, and I've made a bunch of music since then. It's not like I just quit, but it's been a lot harder to get into the motivation of.
So it sounds very boring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is weird because I know I wouldn't be feeling that way if something would hit, but I go into the mindset.
Oh, I gotta make music.
Yeah, like I'm forcing myself to sit down, but I know what it feels like when a beat is just hitting.
Facts, and it's exciting.
Yeah, and I'm like,
You're
okay,
like riding the wave.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm feeling this. The melodies are coming out. The words are like being witty. I don't know. Like I want to rap really bad, and I just feel like I haven't been able to.
Fair. I guess I know the answer to this question for me, which is what's made it so powerful. But what is the thing that sounds so boring about it? For me, it was that I didn't know where to go. I'd be like, well, I could look through samples for hours, but it sounds like a mess.
Yeah.
So
it's like I could
it's
look
taxing.
through a million beats.
Yeah, it's where do I even go from here? I was lost. That's what made me bored.
Stemming from no inspiration.
Definitely.
I don't have anything making me like, oh, I was going to sit down and write about this feeling, this scenario that happened, this thing. And I think if I really, really wanted to, I could probably find things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, well, is it that I just don't want to? Do I just not want to make music? Yeah, I don't... See, I was thinking about that too. I'm like, is it because I feel like I'm not evolving when it comes to my sound? Am I not going anywhere new with my sound? And so that feels boring to me.
I think what's going to happen, and we've always said this, but I think it especially now, is that the beats that we make in the house are going to be that new sound. I think it's going to be very different.
Wait, say that.
I think the beats that we're gonna be making are gonna be the new sound that you make.
Fair, yeah. I've been making music with other
Play an
people's
Damn.
vision.
What do you think about the beat we made last night?
I think it's cool. I think it feels very style blending. I would almost rap on it,
I think it's cool as
even though it sounds
fuck.
like Michael Jackson.
True. I think it sounds cool as fuck. I think it's showing us a new step.
Yeah, we're getting somewhere.
Yes.
Dude, Keaton said you guys are onto something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's all playing together. That's what I was not understanding. I was trying to get a bunch of different languages on the same track, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If I've been paying attention to if something sounds like a hip hop sample or not, and which is a crazy distinction to make if you think about it. Like if I wish I could give you an example, but electronic pop has been my favorite here
Yeah.
recently.
It's really funny because there's a couple of things about that. One, I think of, and maybe you've already said this, but I think of the day that we were like trying to make music, and I was like, "What are you guys feeling right now?
Yes,
Like, what mood are you in? What do you want to talk about?"
that was a great question.
And then you were like, "Dude, there's just a block. With like, I can't think about it like that."
Right.
And then I feel like that's exactly what you're doing now, is like distinguishing a
Yes.
lane of where you're trying to go with your music in that session.
And it's interesting because it's not necessarily an emotion, but it is, because these genres almost represent an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop usually, I would say, is hard,
Mm-hmm.
the shit music.
Yeah.
So if I hear a sample that's hype, I'm like, okay, hip hop. It's like hip hop will make this go hard.
And then we were listening to HOV, and you're like, "Dude, I'm gonna make beats like this."
Yes.
And I was like, "Dope."
And it's all fitting in the same genre. They're all getting sounds from. It's like electronic pop loves to rely on disco
Yeah.
because they're speaking the same language.
Yep.
They're congruent with one another. And that was always a mental block for me, but now I'm getting it, and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Not to stray off topic for too long.
I mean,
Does this fit under agendas? We're talking about agendas, by the way.
we talked a lot about agendas. It's not like
True.
this stemmed from the conversation of having our own free time.
We're very nuanced guys.
Yeah.
Very important people.
I think I just need to stop giving myself the out of I just can't really make music right now. Yes, musical agendas for sure.
True.
Because it's stunting it. It's the mindset I'm in. And I think it's almost cope when I'm like wanting to make music with you guys, because I'm like, that's going to spark it in me, because then I'm being held accountable to making music. And that's where that conversation comes from too. It's I'm being weak when it comes to making music, and I need help, because I'm very aware at this point that I am not doing a very good job of keeping myself making music. And I don't know what to do at this point, and I'm like lost, and I'm just like grasping out for like help. And then when I'm like, okay, if I'm like, let's make music, and everybody's like, it just feeds into what I'm already doing, and I'm like, okay. And then we're like, we'll make music, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh, dude, I'd rather go back to sleep. And nobody's like, bro, we said we were gonna make music. Now I'm like dude, if you woke me up, which I feel like you wouldn't do this, but if you woke me up, and it's crazy because you've said this about Seth, if you woke me up for so would you say?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, I'm just like really tired, like I can't, like.
Fair. Yes.
You'd be like, all right, man.
True.
Instead of being like, bro, you literally said that you were gonna do this, and be upset about it. Like,
Yeah.
It holds me more accountable knowing that you would be upset about it than if you were just like, all right, man, we can just do it a different day.
Yes, and after the discussions that we've had, I totally agree that is what I would do, but I would do a lot to not do that now.
Yeah, and I think it's the same with music, and I'm searching for that in hoping that you guys will help me pick up that slack, because I'm having a really hard time doing it myself.
I get that.
Not to say I couldn't do it.
Well, it's that because
Figure your shit out, Cat.
you know what your problem is really. This is not the lifestyle you want to live.
Right.
This is not the lifestyle that your music is going to be about.
Right.
But there's not much that you can do about that right now.
Right.
So you're in a dilemma
Right.
where you need to figure out how can I make meaningful music that I still stand by in this lifestyle. And you're just grasping for straws.
Because I never wanted to be the person that's saying the things that is just going to get the clicks and shit. Like, I want it to be real. I don't want to be talking about how I get bitches, but then I can't get a single girl to come to my house. Like, I don't want that
Right?
because that's fake.
Mm-hmm. I get that. And the things that you like rapping about are usually big, eventful, social ideas
Yeah.
and scenarios.
Oh my god.
You could rap about the faintly colored white walls
Yeah.
in this house.
That I sit in.
How dark your room is.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be fun to rap about?
Dude, and then, but things like that, I'm like, okay, but then I think about, like, isolated.
True.
I'm like, okay, I just don't want to be depressed. And that's where that music feels like it's going to go.
Is this shadow integration that you're avoiding? Are you, like, running from something?
I mean, maybe it's just an excuse, but I'm, like, worried that all the music I'm going to make is just going to be sad boy. And I just don't want to be in that mindset because I feel like I can still be happy right now. I just have to figure out how to do it. And it's not to say I'm not necessarily. That's my balls. It's not necessarily to say that I'm not happy, because there's a lot of things that I'm doing that are like
finding a new
I'm
spark
enjoying.
is rough.
Yeah. But, you know, there's times where I'm pissed.
Of course.
Times where I'm.
Dude, I bet you could find a crazy rap song if you were angry enough.
Mm-hmm. And, like, I just have stuff in the bank that I'm just not really doing anything
True.
with.
I
But
bet. Yeah.
I keep giving myself the excuse of, like, I don't have any money to put it out. I can't even get my bank account out of the negative so that I could put $10 in it to, like,
You could. Oh yeah, true.
put a song out.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you one thing I don't want to do is just start releasing music on SoundCloud.
I get it. I get that completely.
It feels like a big step backwards. I feel like I could. I was thinking about putting stuff out on YouTube. I still haven't finished the lyric videos for the I'm Him.
Fair. Are the That Feeling videos on YouTube at all? Like shorts or anything?
I don't think so.
Bro, you should do that.
I agree. I haven't done anything with shorts. I've touched them like a handful of
I
times.
posted
Maybe.
one Brendan Evans short on YouTube and never posted anymore.
Which, you know, Keaton said he was gonna do that, and then never heard anything about it after that. I was like, all right. That's another place where I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'm backseating, and
What?
like we talk about like doing shorts, and you're like, okay, since I'm running the TikTok, Keaton, would you want to do the YouTube shorts? He's like, yeah, I would do that, and then it just dies right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring that back up to him again.
And it's like my YouTube, but I don't take the initiative to send it to him.
Yeah.
And then
Live
dude,
shows or open mics.
same.
We've been doing karaoke.
Barely.
Yeah, we did karaoke one time.
Well, that's not even the same.
Oh, you mean Richmond?
I mean, just in general,
Mm.
like it's not the same as performing. Yeah, I'm a
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a karaoke hobbyist. Don't get me wrong, but like performing my own music is not
Like
the
walking
same.
out Keaton.
Yeah, I mean that's amplifying.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Fucking, I don't remember what I was saying.
Yeah, she's going ballistic right now. She's
Thanks for that input, Abaddon. I appreciate that.
She is in heaven right
yeah,
now.
she is.
She said, "Oh my God, the queen's chair."
Yeah. She knows she's got it like that.
Which was rough for me to get out to play music. Fair.
The craziest thing is a lot of the lane I'm in won't allow me to perform. Like, I've tried playing at E Street, and they're like, yeah, we've tried rap before. And I'm like, I'm not just a rapper. I don't just rap. I sing.
Do you think you represent a rapper?
The
too
image that
well?
I'm giving off feels like rapper white boy.
Dude, the sticker that was
Yes.
grabbing his crotch
Yes.
with the mic, that's what they see.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not what my music is. And if they would just fucking listen,
Yeah.
she was like, yeah, just send me something and I'll check it out. Obviously cap. But like, I sent her Shiesty. I'm like, I'm not even rapping in Shiesty. I'm trying to show that I'm not just a rapper.
Right.
And she doesn't even listen to it. So she doesn't even know.
She said, "No, I already know what your type is like. I've seen people like you before.
It's like, bro, you have no idea.
I'm not just going to let you perform here."
The people that you hate letting perform here, I also hate.
Yes.
They're the ones tarnishing my image, and I'm not even doing anything wrong. It's crazy.
Yes.
I need to figure out how to do my own.
Yeah.
It's so daunting, it hurts.
Yeah, there's a bunch of skills that we can just do on our own, but there's a lot of brainstorming and action planning involved.
It's very hard for me to think about throwing a show and then it just being all on me.
Yeah, there's so many hurdles that could get in the way. Fair.
Fair.
Yeah. All you need is a mic, a camera, and internet, and a laptop. You can make whatever content you want.
Yeah.
A camera. I don't know if I already said that.
Yeah.
I think the more we put out content, the better we're going to get at it. The more we're doing anything in the background, like making music, the better we're going to get at it. It's more valuable. People buy things that are valuable. So we're going to make ourselves valuable. So we're going to make ourselves a high ticket. And it's just the patience and the convincing of everybody with all these damn agendas.
Yeah.
The rat race agenda.
And, bro, I hate not being real on the internet. I hate it. That's definitely an agenda that gets a lot of clicks.
Yes.
They just copy paste things of things that they're not actually like.
Yes, it works.
And like, even Connor Price does this where he'll be like,
I can't keep time for shit.
he makes videos of him like coming into the studio. He's like, bro, I got this idea. And then he's also in the producer chair. He's like, whoa, like, what's going on? And he's like, dude, I just thought of this song. He's like talking to himself. And then he starts playing a song. He's just like rapping on the mic. And it's like, the song's
That's
good.
the whole video.
The song is good. And then when he makes music videos for the actual songs themselves, they're really good. Like, he's good at making content.
But he's also trying to catch the viewer.
But I've also seen that formula multiple times.
because it works.
It's
So they do it.
There's a song that I just found recently called Speechless. And it was the one I showed you guys of, like, he's sitting in the chair and the thing on the screen says, this song be waking people up, and people are like asleep in the back of the studio. It's like,
yes.
no, the fuck you weren't.
Right.
You're faking that you're sleeping for the camera, and you can play it off like, yeah, we're just acting, but it's like you're trying to make it look like you're not.
Mm.
You're trying to get people to be like, it's clickbait. You're feeding a stimulation in their brain that's like, oh my God, it wakes him up. This song is so good.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's crazy.
It's like reaction videos
Yes,
where they're
bro.
reacting. The first time I ever heard Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. Bullshit. It's not the first time you've ever heard it. and everything that you're doing is forced. You're trying to give the biggest reaction to the littlest movement
Right.
because you want viewership.
Yep.
It's an agenda.
And then that stunts my content creation because I stunt it in that way
Mm.
because I'm not trying to find different ways to do it
Mm.
that don't come off fake like that.
Yeah, because you still want the views,
Right.
but you don't want to force your way to get it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be slimy about the way I climb my way to the top.
Right, we're trying to be valuable and skillful and funny and entertaining and all this shit that you get viewership through, and
Mhm.
it's the continuing of doing it that's going to make us better at it, and more people are going to see. Like, the fact that the amount of viewerships on our accounts has only gone up, the amount of people that look at our account on a monthly basis has only gone up
Yep.
significantly. It's because we're consistently doing it and getting better at it as we continue doing it.
We're making it a point to get it out there. And I feel like that's not really what I was doing with my music. I was doing it in a personable way, but I was
Mhm.
not doing it on the internet.
Fair.
I know how to network my music to people, but I didn't know how to sell myself on the internet. And making those that feeling videos,
You aren't trying to do it, you are just doing it.
yeah. Yeah. I agree. There is no what is it? It's like you either do or do not. There is no try.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair.
Because you're either really doing it or you're just not really doing it.
Right.
I'm not really making music right now.
Fair. I get that. And like you said, you're doing other avenues,
Yeah.
which honestly, how we're doing it, it makes sense because we're trying to get the most amount of viewership that we can without forcing it, through all these different podcasts and putting ourselves out there. So you're helping feed into that.
Yeah, I'm looking to get the Vanilla Boy out there so that people can go look at my catalog and be like, holy fuck.
Yeah, you're trying to use what you've already built, and now you're just trying to advertise that thing that you've already built.
Yes. But I will tell you right now, this is making me want to make music
Fair.
and listen to the beat that we made.
Fair. What time were you on your aunt's?
I don't know.
Can we find out if we're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to text her after this and be like, what time do you want us to come over? Nice.
True. I don't really. The only instrument that I even have is a keyboard. I mainly make beats, but I mean, I can hook up instruments to the speakers in the DAW and play instruments out loud, which
True.
is kind of cool.
Dude, I kind of want a ukulele.
Ukulele would be sick.
I feel like I should learn how to play an instrument.
Yeah, me too, especially with the things I'm learning right now. I think it would make a lot of sense.
Dude, I feel like I should really learn piano.
Piano's pretty good. I have stuff, and beats are fun to jam on. Yeah, fair. Yeah, I've been making a fuck ton. I haven't been completing them. I'm guilty of that. I should be putting more emphasis on completing them. I'm kind of having a heyday with learning different mechanics, musical theory, and it's like a playground. I'm just having fun right now.
Fair.
Yeah, it's like a jam. It's a big jam, honestly.
Yeah, when we're making beats together, I feel like it's a jam session.
Yeah, jam. It's fun. You're kind of just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what hits and what doesn't. It's a fun time.
So, would you say you're ready to wrap this up?
I would say that. I think we've covered pretty much everything about agendas.
Yeah.
What do you think about maybe not next week, but just in general, just asking, because me and Seth did this on Matter of Fact. We asked the commenters if there's a topic that they would like us to discuss.
I would be open to that.
Yeah, is there any topic that we should discuss? So far, we've done clout
And agendas.
We talk a lot about culture and counterculture, the things that we grew up with, what people believe, ideologies and shit like that.
I would say, yeah, ideologies are big.
So if there's a certain topic you would like to see from us, there's that. We don't necessarily have one chosen for next week, but
True.
I don't see it taking too long for us to come up with one.
No.
Agendas was great.
If we're gonna try and give that time to fester, I guess we can leave on.
Fair.
What do you think is the best? Well, what do you think is the healthiest agenda, and what do you think is the most negative agenda?
The healthiest agenda that I can think of, I like that you chose the word healthy because I think it's health.
Right. That's why I changed it to that.
Yeah, I think that if you're promoting at least moderate fitness and nutrition, the pros to cons, the pros will vastly outweigh the cons.
Right.
So I think that would be the best agenda. I think the worst agenda... Agendas are so multi-layered, it's hard to say.
Yeah,
I would say agendas that promote hostile anger.
I would agree with that.
Things that make people want to start riots. And
Hurt each other.
yes, I would say those are the agendas that you should be wary of.
I feel that.
What do you think?
I think one of the healthiest agendas is promoting happiness
Fair?
and being yourself, which is not a very big agenda, I would say.
What, like a lot of people are not buying into it?
Yeah. I'd say most people are buying into the cut, copy, paste, do pictures this way, smile right here.
I
do
bet
this.
people say that they're on that side, though.
Right.
I bet they're like, yeah, just be yourself.
But, like, the
working
people-
60 hours a week.
Yeah, right. But the
For
people
a
that are
company.
legitimately doing it and trying to be themselves, I think, yeah, that's like the best agenda I can think of.
Fair.
And then
Hello. You got something to say? The audience wants to hear it, Abaddon.
they want to know what topic we're doing next week, Abaddon.
What are we doing?
What do you think?
Yeah, what's going on? She doesn't want to answer.
All right, she's getting camera shy.
She said, hee hee, I don't know.
The
Will you
w-
be petting me?
The worst agenda I can think of is either the drug agenda or our school system.
Damn, school system is a great tangible one, honestly. All right, fine. If we're doing agendas like that, I think the rat race is huge.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
The rat race is fucking ridiculous. Well, all right, Seth, if you do think of one, just text me on Messenger and we'll discuss.
Kendrick
Yes.
Lamar, thanks for hanging out on TikTok.
Yeah,
I
like
appreciate
3
you.
different times. Appreciate
Dude,
it.
he came in here like multiple times.
Yeah, I seen his name pop up a lot.
He was trying to get his balls licked tonight.
Yeah, he was. He brought it up.
Yeah.
Trying to get my ball. Why, bro?
Bro,
Why?
he's just a troll. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's funny. He refuses to take anything seriously.
Dude, of course.
Yeah.
We're talking about his songs. He's like, thanks, guys.
I appreciate it.
I really am Kendrick Lamar. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Thanks for calling out Drake as being a pedophile.
Yeah.
I think it's yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, bro. Well, thanks for hanging out, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.